So I'm here with Jenevieve Broomall, cover artist extraordinaire at, where am I? Phoenix Comicon. The first day of Phoenix Comicon. Going to interview her. So I have a few questions for her, if she doesn't mind.
Don't mind at all.
Okay. So your work demonstrates a wide variety of styles in your creations and mediums. Can you review some of the formats like markers, pencils, ink, and paint that you work on?
Really, what I do is I'm, for the most part, strictly traditional. I do pencils, then I ink, and then I do any of the color work that I do is Copic markers. If I do have digital colors, I outreach to digital colorists to color on top of my stuff.
And your style is difficult to define, whether it be manga, exaggeration, photorealism, as well as playful and serious. Is this diversity intentional?
Yes. Yes.
And when you're hired to produce work, how do you decide which style is best for that type of work?
Well, it really all depends on the content. Basically, content is really the main idea. Like if you're going for something that's a bit more pinup, you try to go a little bit more realistic. Whereas if you're drawing something that's like Sailor Moon or something like that, you go a bit more, manga style, but it's still within my style. They still have noses, if that makes any sense.
And we noticed while looking at some of the work you've done, a lot of covers and pinups. Do you have any interest in producing sequential art, like interior art for different comics?
Yes, and actually I'm working on a co-creatorship right now, and it's the title called Lights, Camera, Jungle. It's with the owner of Big Dog Ink, Tom Hutchinson.
Okay.
And he is writing it, and I am co-creating, and I'm going to be doing the covers and the interiors.
Very cool.
So that is something that's going to actually be coming out hopefully September this year at Dragon Con in Atlanta.
That's where it's going to debut, Dragon Con?
Yes, we're doing a 5-page starter, and we're going to pitch it around, and we're going to debut it there in the show.
Nice. And is he producing it himself, or publishing, I should say?
We're going to publish it. We might Kickstarter it.
Okay.
And then shop it around to a few folks. But it's going to be really fun. So far, we're having so much fun with the book.
Nice. And how long have you been actively engaged in making art?
As long as I've had my career in comics, that's about probably going on 6 years now. And that's being serious. And I tack on 2 more years to that, and that was me actually working at making my style better, improving, studying, and all of that, and then submitting my work, and then finally, making a living in the business.
And when did you know that producing art was what you were meant to do?
When I got fired. I always liked to draw, but I didn't necessarily start getting serious about it until I got laid off when I was 6 months pregnant with my first child.
Okay.
So I figured, why don't I just go for it? Because no one was going to hire me that far along.
Right.
Just going to have a baby.
Exactly, and you can be out for maternity leave for a few months.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, so I just went and said, let's go for it.
Just went basically cold turkey type thing.
Pretty much, yeah, and that was pretty much 7 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, that was an adventure.
And when do you know one of the pieces that you're working on, when do you know it's finished?
When the deadline's due. When I'm somewhat satisfied with it. Sometimes I get a bit temperamental with my artwork, and I'll start things over to the shock of some of my peers. But that's just because my name is on it, so I want to make a good product. I don't want to just half at it. So if it looks great and I enjoy it, then the piece is finished. If I don't really like it, then I'm not just going to be like, oh, I'll just fudge over that.
Okay. So you want to just make sure that it meets your standards.
Meets my standards. And if it's okay for now, and I know in a couple years I'm going to turn around and look at it and be like, oh, it's terrible. But, for now, it's good.
And how often do you finish a piece and find it difficult to let it go?
Not too often. Unless it's a piece that I grew with, do I get overly attached to it. So, yeah, most of my stuff, I used to have an issue with letting things go, but now, not so much. You gotta make a profit.
True.
But there are like those 1 or 2 pieces that you fall in love with, and I'm like.
And it's kind of tough, but
I hang it on my wall. I don't even make it an option.
Yeah. Now, do you keep the original art?
Sometimes.
Okay.
If I love it that much, I'm going to put it on my wall.
Okay.
And I literally have 2 pieces.
Okay. 2 out of 7 years that you've been producing cover art?
Yeah.
And I know it's difficult to brag, but what are some of the accomplishments that you've achieved that you're especially proud of?
I'm especially proud of transitioning to inks, and because I was strictly pencil, and then I changed over and I became, I'm inking my own work, and now I'm getting really proud of being able to use Copic markers. So I guess what I would say is that I am getting very proud of being able to hopefully become a one-stop shop where I can do it all. Digital colors are beautiful, and I love the colors that I work with. They're just getting so much work that it's hard to book it out, and so it would be nice to be able to color things on my own.
As opposed to having someone else do it for you.
Yeah, exactly. Then if it's messed up, there's no one else to blame but me.
Right. And when it comes to meeting your creators, what was your best oh my gosh moment when meeting a favorite creator?
When I met Mark Brooks, that was a big oh my gosh moment, because he's awesome. Joyce and Art over there are like, oh, but now it's like we all get along so well. It was funny because it's like when I first met them, it was kind of like, oh boy, but
fangirl side moment.
Yeah, kind of a little. but then it's like as we just started talking, they're other human beings, and they are just as nerdy and silly as you are. So it becomes, one of those things where it's like you meet them and then you realize that you have so much in common with those people that it is so cool. It's so cool.
And what are some of the professional goals you've set for yourself? I know you talked about being a one-stop shop. Are there any other goals you've set for yourself?
Well, I've set the one-stop shop, which I'm working on, and I've also set the interiors, which I'm now working on. So those goals are becoming met, and the next goals are to start working for the bigger companies.
Okay.
And they don't realize it yet, but they're on my list, and it's going to happen. So
bigger companies like the Images and Dark Horses, or are you talking
Image,
Marvel and DC?
No, I'm talking Image, Dark Horse, Top Cow, Marvel and DC. I'm talking about all of the large companies. I am going to work for eventually. I've already got IDW down. So I'm moving in Aspen and Big Dog Ink, and I set my mind to it last year to draw for Lady Death. My first Lady Death cover is coming out this month.
Yeah, I saw that on Brian Polito's page.
Yep. So it's one of those things where I'm persistent.
Persistency pays off.
And I hit my deadlines. So that's always
true.
A good thing.
Yes, that's one thing publishers like.
Yeah.
Can she meet her deadlines or not?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if you can't, then that's not good, especially when they're trying to meet their deadlines.
Yes. It's publishing. So
true.
Yeah.
Now, talking about commissions, do you follow a standard pricing structure, or does it vary?
They really vary. Rihanna? I'm sorry.
No worries.
But it varies from person to person in the fact that I have a base set, and then depending on what they want, the price can flex from there.
Okay. But how detailed and what medias are being used?
Yeah, usually when I start popping in a bunch of Copics, the price goes way high. But the thing is that those markers are $6 per marker.
Yeah.
Then I've got to put refill ink in there, and then I'm using all of other mediums as well, like paints and stuff on top of that.
Right.
So the prices do jump a lot. But the thing also about my commissions is that I take so damn long that I feel guilty, so you're going to get something really good out of me.
I've seen some of your work, and it's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and from waiting for a commission that now I feel like crap, so you're going to get something really good for me.
No rush, Dad.
You can ask my husband, he's like, oh my God, are you serious? And I'm like, they've waited a year. But it's other things.
Patience pays off for them as well.
Exactly.
Now, when it comes to doing the commissions from a basic doodle to the most comprehensive commission possible, can you give some examples of some work you produce?
Okay, repeat the question.
Sorry. From a basic doodle to some of the more comprehensive commissions possible that you've done, can you give some examples of work you produce for commissions?
Oh, for commissions?
Yeah,
I've done like single characters where it's just really, really simple black and white inks to very complex ones that I've actually turned into prints that have full backgrounds. There's a Joan print that I have up there that was a commission.
Okay.
And I did the full cloud backgrounds, and that was a piece that I was proud of the progress that I made. So I made a print of it, and had to let it go.
Which ties back into one of the questions we asked before.
Yeah, had to let it go. But at the same time, I was really, that's the thing, like when I find pieces that I've grown a lot of, I will want to share those with other people. Whereas a lot of my older stuff, I'm trying to phase them out.
Okay. Just as you develop as an artist.
Yeah, like I have a whole, like the Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy and Black Cat trio and the Gotham Girls trios. Once I'm sold out of those, I'm done.
Okay.
Because if you compare them to my new style now, it's like night and day.
Yeah, quite a difference as you've grown as an artist over the years.
Exactly.
Now, where can our readers go to see some of the examples of your work? Facebook, DeviantArt, what sites do you mostly your work on?
Okay,
I know you mentioned Twitch to me earlier.
Yes, I'm on Facebook. I have an art page on there. So if you look up my full name, Jenevieve Broomall, Broomall, you'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Flickr, but I haven't really updated that one that much. Tumblr, Twitch, Patreon, and a few other social media sites. So I'm pretty on there as far as like the social media goes. Twitch Creative is basically like a live stream, and it's where you go and someone can watch you draw or produce art live.
Right.
And I have one camera set up on me and one set up on my art, and usually what happens is people come and they just ask me questions, we joke around, we have a great time. You do have to download the Twitch stuff, but it's really easy and it's quite simple to just be able to just sit down
just watch you do your work.
Yeah, and then you can type and chat, and we have a great time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now I know at this convention you're going to be working or doing a part of a cosplay panel. How did you become involved in cosplay?
Well, the cosplay from concept to creation thing happened with my friend Gabby, who's over here. She sews phenomenally, and she actually sewed a couple of things for my daughter. And then what happened was the year before last, we were at a show, we sat near one another, and a gal came up to me and she was like, I want to do a steampunk store. Her name is Katima. She's a really amazing cosplayer, and she literally looks like Storm just walked off the page. She's
nice.
gorgeous.
Okay.
I mean, just... And I was like, a steampunk store is pretty dang cool. So I went to Gabby and I grabbed this girl who I just met.
Right.
And I rushed over to Gabby and I was like, I have an idea. And she was like, okay, what's your idea? Because Gabby's always liked my designs. And so we did the steampunk project, and then that got such a big reaction last year because people were not expecting that, from concept to creation. And then we moved and we are doing the DC Cyber Sirens. So they're the sirens from DC and Cyberpunk. And it's pretty cool. It's really fun.
Now, cosplay, as of late, it's been an exploding subject. It's become more and more embraced by the mainstream. Why do you think, in your personal opinion, this is happening now?
I think it's happening now because people like to dress up. I mean, Halloween only happens once a year, so cosplay is an excuse to do it all year long.
True.
I mean, that's just my point of view. And it's also the fandom. Like, if you're really passionate about something, you can show how much you care and show your love for something like that. But I find that it's fun, and I find that it's really interesting. And I can't sew. I'm trying to learn how to sew, but I love looking at other cosplay. It's really cool.
Now, in your opinion, has this extra attention that's been towards cosplay been a good thing in terms of regulating some of the negative aspects that plague that hobby?
I think the only negative stuff that I see, like at shows, that I can really kind of comment on is like when you get a group in front of your booth for a really long time, it can kind of create some issues as far as traffic.
Right, so like a traffic jam.
Yeah, but if you are able to move that, you can do tons of photo bombs, which is what I do. And eventually they start to move along because there's some crazy lady in the background going, but the thing is, it's like, I don't see it as hurting the comic book industry. I don't see it as hurting us artists, and I see if we work together, like the from concept to creation, that we'll come out with some really fun stuff. I mean, because the cosplayers, they're people too.
True.
Yeah. You know, they're people too. They're loving stuff.
They're fans as much as any of us are.
Exactly, and they're artists in their own right, and being able to sew. Because sewing is
sewing plus the design plus the really intense ones who do the makeup themselves or the face paint.
Well, that's like when I'm designing some of this stuff up. You know, Gabby will call me and she'll be like, "That can't happen in real life," and I'm drawing it because it looks cool, you know, and I don't even think about the construction of something.
Right.
So you know, that helps put things into perspective for me as well. It's like their challenges when they're trying to make these costumes based off of these characters. Some of it's just floating midair. How do you do that? You know?
So trying to get some realism into it as well.
Yeah.
Now, we noticed on your Facebook page you referred to harassment, and obviously this has been an ongoing concern within the cosplay industry for a very long time. Does the visibility that cosplay has now hold more people accountable for their actions, in your opinion?
I think that people should be accountable for their actions no matter what, if it's cosplay or if it's regular. You wouldn't just walk up to somebody and fill them up or say a rude comment when they're out of costume.
True.
So what makes you say that it's okay to do that when they're in costume?
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just because they're in costume, that doesn't make them not a person. Like,
True.
they're not a human being. So I would say just, I think that my suggestion for anybody is just think before you speak.
Okay.
Which is common sense.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's kind of like when I'm teaching my 6-year-old, you know, just think before you talk.
The other one that's running around here?
Well, that's Brianna. That's actually Gabby's little one. Mine is back in Florida with grandparents.
Oh, okay.
But around the same age.
Okay.
So,
She looked like it was about a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
So wasn't sure that was her, yours, or Gabby's
and
back
funny,
there?
she's named Brianna and mine is Bree.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have to memorize the new name and just fuss at her.
Yeah, exactly.
Bless her heart.
Now, can you tell us about some of the current projects that you're working on right now?
Well, the Lights Camera Jungle is definitely one.
That's the one coming out of DragonCon, I believe you
that's
said.
the one coming out in DragonCon, so that is definitely one. I'm trying to hit up IDW for some more gem covers and some other possibility covers that they might have in the works.
Okay, cross your fingers.
Yeah, I can't say because they haven't released any information.
That is just hush for now.
Pretty much, because if they don't do it, then
exactly. Yeah.
but then really the other stuff is just getting that book out and getting out, you know, some other companies, hitting them up, things like that. So they're on my radar, and they're gonna get bugged by me.
You keep talking to them until you hear what you hear, either good or bad.
Yeah, well, I'm persistent.
True.
So, some people say tenacious, but I don't mind that.
Excuse me. Anything else you'd like to tell our viewers?
Well, when it comes to your own stuff, I would say just keep at it. If you are struggling right now, that's okay. That's called growing pains. It stinks, but it will get better. So that is my advice to any artist. Anybody who's looking at my stuff, you can find me on all the social media, and I would be happy to answer your questions when I get a chance.
And what I'm going to do is when I post this interview, I'm going to post links to all your various pages. I'll send you an email so I can get the exact links, because I have your Instagram and your Facebook already. I'm not sure about the other links, so I'll email you and get those as well for the page, for the interview. And this is it.
All right.
So
So thank you.